Hi, this is Lee from the Law School Toolbox and the Bar Exam Toolbox. Today we're talking about using accommodations on the bar exam. This is an important topic for many test takers who need accommodations due to disabilities or other conditions. The accommodations process can be overwhelming, but it's necessary for leveling the playing field on exam day. First, let's talk about why accommodations are important. They remove barriers that can prevent individuals with disabilities from performing under standard exam conditions. By addressing these barriers, accommodations promote equity in the testing process. Accommodations aren't about giving an unfair advantage, they're about fairness and equity. It's important for test takers to think about which accommodations will support their needs and communicate these needs to the examiners clearly when applying for them. Understanding the range of potential accommodations out there can help candidates advocate for themselves and make sure they receive the supports necessary for succeeding on the bar exam. Accommodations are tailored to meet specific needs and ensure examinees have equitable access to test-taking conditions. These types of accommodations provided can vary widely, addressing a big range of physical, psychological, and cognitive conditions. Here's a quick look at some accommodations that might be available. Extended time. One of the most common accommodations. Extended time allows individuals who process information more slowly due to a disability more time to read questions, consider answers, and complete the exam. This can be crucial for individuals with learning disabilities, ADHD, or psychiatric disorders. Additional breaks. For test takers with certain medical conditions, such as diabetes or Crohn's disease, the ability to take extra breaks can be essential for managing their health, allowing them to administer medication, use the restroom, or perform other necessary health-related activities without penalty. Separate testing room. Individuals who are easily distracted due to ADHD or anxiety disorders, or perhaps those who need to use assistive technology, could be granted a separate testing room. Alternative format exams. For individuals with visual impairments, learning disabilities, or other conditions that affect the ability to interact with standard exam materials, exams could be provided in alternative formats. This can include large print, braille, or digital formats that are compatible with screen reading software. Assistive technology. Test takers may be allowed to use specific types of assisted technology that they use in their studies or daily life. This can include software that reads text out loud, speech-to-text software, or other specialized equipment. Scribe or reader services. Individuals who have difficulty writing or reading due to physical disabilities, visual impairments, or dyslexia could be provided with a scribe to write their answers as dictated, or a reader to read the exam questions aloud. Modified seating or furniture. Accommodations could also include special seating arrangements or furniture to support physical needs. As an example, someone with an injury may need an adjustable chair or a standing desk. Permission to bring and use medical equipment. Test takers with certain health conditions may need to bring medical equipment into the testing room, such as glucose monitors, insulin pumps, hearing devices, or other necessary medical devices. Adjustments to the schedule. In rare cases, the exam schedule may be adjusted to accommodate individuals with conditions that manifest cyclically or unpredictably, ensuring that they can take the exam during a period of wellness. The process for applying for accommodations can be detailed and time-consuming. It usually involves providing documentation of your disability or condition from a qualified professional. This should clearly lay out the specific accommodations you're requesting and why they're necessary. If you've had accommodations during law school, you're a step ahead. Use that history to back up your bar exam application. Document all accommodations received in the past because this establishes a recognized need and continuity of support. Keep detailed records of all accommodations and interactions with your law school's disability services. Haven't had accommodations before? Don't stress. Just make sure your documentation spells out how your situation impacts your test-taking skills and what accommodations you're seeking. Explain why accommodations were not sought or needed during law school, but are necessary now. Be ready to answer questions about the absence of accommodations in law school. Focus on the evolution of your condition or the specific challenges of the bar exam format. Securing accommodations for the bar exam requires careful planning. Here's a basic overview of the steps you will need to take. Step 1. Research and understand the requirements. Begin researching the accommodation process as soon as you decide to sit for the bar exam. Each jurisdiction has its own deadlines and requirements. Look for resources from disability rights organizations and, if needed, consult legal professionals or educational consultants who specialize in this area. Their expertise can guide you in strengthening your application and working the appeals process. Gather information on the types of documentation required. This typically includes medical records, diagnostic reports, and professional evaluations detailing your condition and the necessity for specific accommodations. Step 2. Obtain necessary documentation. If you do not have recent documentation of your condition, schedule evaluations well in advance. Documentation should be relatively recent, generally within the last 3 years. Make sure that your documentation meets the criteria provided by the bar examiners, usually including a clear diagnosis, the impact of your condition on your ability to take the exam under standard conditions, and the rationale for each requested accommodation. Step 3. Complete the application form. Fill out the accommodations application form. Be specific about the accommodations you are requesting and link them directly to how your condition affects your exam performance. Attach all required documentation to your application. Step 4. Submit your application. Submit your application and all supporting documents before the deadline. Late submissions might not be considered, so pay very close attention to the deadlines. Keep copies of everything you submit for your records. Step 5. Follow up and prepare for next steps. Make sure you receive confirmation that your application has been received. If you don't receive confirmation within a reasonable time, check in with the bar examiners to make sure they have the application. The bar examiners sometimes request more information or clarification. Respond to these requests quickly. Step 6. Responding to the decision. If your application for accommodations is approved, review the details of your accommodations. Make sure you understand how they will be implemented and adjust your exam preparation as needed. If your application is denied or only partially approved, review the reasons provided. You might have the option to appeal the decision. Consider seeking legal advice or assistance from a disability rights organization if you decide to appeal. There are many. Just search your state name plus disability rights and see which programs offer educational or similar access advocacy. If you do appeal, provide additional documentation or clarification that addresses the reasons for denial or partial approval. So now you have been approved for accommodations. Now what? Securing accommodations is a significant step towards leveling the playing field, but knowing how to effectively use these accommodations is important. Here are some tips. Understanding the specifics of your accommodations is key. If you've been granted extra time, know exactly how much. If you have permission to use specific equipment or software, make sure you're proficient in using it before the exam. Practice under conditions that mimic your accommodations. If you have been granted breaks due to a medical condition, use similar breaks during your practice exams to strategize how to use this time. Extra time can change the dynamics of how you approach the exam. Break down the additional minutes across sections or plan to allocate more time to areas where you typically struggle. Practice often with this adjusted timing to build a rhythm and increase your comfort level. Visualize the exam day and incorporate your accommodations. Mental rehearsal can help reduce anxiety and increase confidence. Be prepared to advocate for yourself if something goes awry with your accommodations. Know who to contact and what your rights are. If an accommodation is not provided as promised, speak up promptly to help ensure that this is addressed. After practicing under simulated conditions or taking the exam, reflect on what worked well and what didn't. This reflection is invaluable for adjusting your strategies in future practice sessions or on the actual exam day. Consider seeking feedback from tutors or other professionals on how you're managing your accommodations during practice. They may offer insights or notice patterns that you've overlooked, which can help hone your approach. Don't overlook the importance of general health and wellness in the lead up to the exam. Good sleep, nutrition, and stress management practices can impact your ability to make the most of your accommodations. Think about how you can integrate wellness practices into your exam prep to make sure you're in the best possible condition on exam day. Securing accommodations for the bar exam is a critical step for many test takers. By understanding the importance of accommodations, knowing what's available, and navigating the application process effectively, you can ensure you're set up for success on exam day. And that's all we have time for today. If you enjoyed this video, please take a second to give us a like and leave a comment. And be sure to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any future content. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us via the contact form at barexamtoolbox.com. Thanks for watching.